phase where we meet the enemy and they are us. I think this is where Gorbachev was when he met with Reagan at Reykjavik. Reagan was calling him the evil empire. Gorbachev was having quite a different process go on from him. He was asking very different and taking a very different perspective on the system. I think he was arriving at integral mind. You see, I know people who were actually involved closely in the build-up to Reykjavik with Gorbachev, and he was seeing the dance of enemies. He was seeing Pogo. Met the enemy, they are us. You build bombs, we build bombs. We build bigger bombs. You build even bigger bombs. You're not that different than me. In fact, we're more alike than we are different. You're not my enemy, you're more like me. Log out of your own eye so you can see clearly. This is the integral principle. So he walks into Reykjavik. Now mind you, at MIT at this time, they're running models of the arms race, systems models of the arms race, and they've come to the conclusion that it only spirals up. That from within the structure of the arms race, you can't make it spiral down. They can't find a way to intervene in it. Gorbachev cuts through that complexity in one sentence. He walks into Reykjavik, says to Reagan, I'm here to deprive you of an enemy. He saw the dance. He saw the system. He had the other perspective on the whole system. But from an integral acceptance. I am the enemy you describe. Let's talk. I disarm unilaterally. What are you going to do with that? Ball game over. Arms race spiral down. This is wisdom at work. This solution, this statement cannot be found from reactive mind. Reactive mind is too polarized, too black and white, too good and bad. You see that in our legislature right now. We're at an utter impasse in the dance of enemies, villainizing each other. I think this solution can only be found at integral level mind, and this is where consciousness and effectiveness meet and wisdom emerges. But the journey doesn't end there. There are stages beyond the stages that Jennifer talked about. If you look into the wisdom traditions and the spiritual traditions, east, west, north, south, they're describing the earlier stages, which we've talked about, but they're also describing stages beyond that. I call them unity. The integral mind forms quite a platform for this to break through. In other words, as soon as I start to see that my enemy and I are not so different, you and I are more alike than we are different, then as Rilke says, God from his place of ambush leaps out. Because there's the possibility of seeing through the diversity to a larger and astonishing inherent unity that is the source condition. You are, we are, not as separate as we think. That's the illusion we're caught in. That's just a smaller mind form. The highest forms of consciousness talk about an astonishing inherent unity in which and as which diversity is arising. So the metaphor here is that I, you, we are like waves on an ocean. In earlier forms of development, I think I am this individual wave. And you are a different wave. And I look over at you and I wonder, do I like you? Are you an enemy? Are you a friend? And, right? What we haven't yet noticed is that we are just a temporary arising on oceanness itself. And at the unitive levels, the identity that's operating us is the inherent unity. The separate self is gone altogether. David White, on first peering into this, wrote first two lines of a poem. He says, "Who would have thought of this? Who would have thought of this?" And in the spiritual traditions, thou art that. You, whether you believe it or not, there's one mystic who says, you think you know who you are? You don't have a clue. You are the divine elephant with amnesia trying to live in an anthole. The elephant is the image, you know, of the divine. You are the oneness you seek. You are the wholeness you seek, but you're trying to live in a place that's way too small. You are the divine elephant with amnesia trying to live in an anthole. You already are the enlightened being, fully configured. You just forgot for a while.